Remove your front wheel. Dismount your caliper, 12mm socket or wrench, and remove the mounting sliding bolts. Pull from the top towards you and then up. Just going to spray up the rotor where it meets the hub. It's kind of frozen on there before I hit it with a hammer. I'm going to dismount the actual outer tie rod end so that I can move the knuckle freely. Just remove the cotter pin. Throw that away. Need to use a new one after. Remove that castle nut. Just tap the knuckle. You're going to remove the old cotter pin from the axle nut. It's pretty rotted on this. It's probably just going to break. Might actually have to. Wow. Nice. So this is the castle nut locking cap. It's just a tin cover that keeps the cotter pin in place. It's pretty rusted. And that's how you do that. So that's the spring that goes behind it, and there's the cover. 36mm socket for the axle nut. Now we're just going to take a little magnet and see if we can get that washer out. There we go. You need a 13mm socket with a 12 point to go on these 12-point bolt heads. So I removed all 3 mounting bolts for the wheel bearing. I'm just going to put one back in and just threaded a couple threads with my hand tight, because when I smack this with a hammer to get this off, I don't want it to fall and hit the toes. All right, now I can remove this bolt. And just pull the wheel bearing right off. I'm going to take the new wheel bearing, line it up with the splines. I can turn it so the bolt holes line right up. I got new bolts, so I'm going to start the bolt by hand. So I started it by hand, 13mm 12-point socket. Just going to bottom it out and go all the way around to the rest. So bearing hub to knuckle bolts are 75 foot-pounds. So now we're going to put our axle nut on. First goes the flat washer. And then what they call then put the nut on. Just bottom it out. Torque on this is going to be 175 foot-pounds. Put our tie rod end back on. Line up the castle nut. Now I put the cotter pin in, line it up. So now we can put our rotor on. Take your new inner pad, center it with those 3 lock pins. There you go. These 2 pins right here are going to line up with those holes in the caliper. See, they lock right in. Now you can take your caliper, you're going to line this brake shoe up on the slider of the bracket of the knuckle. So just like that. And then top will slide right down in. 2 caliper mounting bolts. They're also the sliding pins. Start them by hand. It's a 12mm. Snug them up and then we're going to torque them. The specs is 7 to 15 foot-pounds. They give the variance probably for the wear and tear. I'm going to go right in the middle. I'm going to go 12 foot-pounds. $175 foot-pounds axle nut. Torque the wheels to 100 foot-pounds. Now we're going to put what you call a spring washer. See, it's got some bend to it. It goes in first, then the castle nut cover. Try to line up the pins, the hole, and then use your cotter pin. Slide that right through. That spring washer is doing its job, pushing out on that. So we're just going to pull it right through. Make sure it's all the way down, bottomed out.